Hello, this is Dr. Hobson, your health empowerment guide. Today's vlog will be concerning diet, and it will be in two parts. We're going to have part one about the negative parts of diet, mostly the negative aspects of sugar, salts, and fats. And then part two will be more on the healthier things in our diet that promote health and strength and longevity. The bad things in our diet really cause premature sickness, death, and suffering. So those are the type of things I want to highlight and point out in today's vlog. And the main thing I want to talk about today is sugars. The average American consumes about 60 pounds of added sugars each and every year. And when I say added, it's above and beyond what some sugars are healthy for us, and so our diets have a lot of added sugars in them. When we go to the grocery stores, read the label carefully, and if it says added sugars, that's purely for taste. They try to make the foods more palatable to us, so they'll add fats and sugars and extra salts, and sometimes a number of other things. It would be far healthier for us to choose items that didn't have the added sugars. It's those added sugars that start to create real problems for us, especially if we have a sweet tooth and we're consuming candies and cookies and ice cream and a lot of the things that most Americans love so much. A little bit is probably just fine, but on a regular basis, like every day, creates a real problem for us. Close to 70–75% of our country, our citizens, are either overweight or obese. And much of that is caused by a diet that we find very palatable. We like it and we just keep consuming it in unhealthy quantities. Sugar, when we consume that, if it's more than what our body needs for energy that day, it will be converted in the liver by lipogenesis. And it will be converted to dry triglycerides and stored in the body for future energy use. And over time, those stores begin to add up as fat stores, and fat starts to accumulate in our body in higher percentage body fat. In our bloodstream, sugars can be very dangerous because higher sugar levels are caustic to the inner surface of the blood vessels called the luminal surface. When sugar levels are higher than they should be there, they actually can damage and cause inflammation in that lining of the blood vessels. And that is often the cause of atherosclerotic plaque buildup. Because when this little inflammation occurs and the luminal surface is damaged by sugar, the body tries to repair that by depositing plaque on the inner surface of these little arteries or arterioles. Over time, that plaque thickens. And that brings me to a little story that sort of highlights this point. A number of years ago, a friend of mine, who is a cardiac surgeon, invited me in to watch the procedure, and I stood at the anesthesiologist station, which is right above the patient's head. As a physician, it was very interesting to me. As I walked in the room, the ventilator machine was making the lungs breathe in and out. The chest wall was opened up. The heart was pumping away. And I just stood with a lot of interest watching the whole thing. And as the cardiologist was carefully dissecting the diseased arteries away from the heart, called the coronary arteries, he turned to me several times and he held up the arteries and he would squeeze and push some of this atherosclerotic plaque out. You'd see it come out as a yellow type of goo. And he says this artery was over 90% occluded and the heart was getting progressively damaged because it just couldn't get blood flow and oxygen to the heart muscle. So that drove the point home to me too of what bad diet can potentially do to our arteries. You have to imagine this happening throughout the whole body. So many of our common diseases are totally preventable with a healthier diet and lifestyle. Sugars is something we should all pay attention to. And we should do our best to try to limit our consumption. Our country is actually slowly doing a little better than it was a decade or two ago, but we still are way too obese. About 70 to 75% of us are obese. So I would like all of our followers to, next time they go shopping, maybe spend more time in the periphery of the grocery store where the healthier foods are found and less time through the center aisles of the grocery store. And when you purchase stuff through the center aisles, look at the labels carefully, and if it has sugar added or fats or salts added, try to find another item that doesn't have the additives. If we start doing this consistently and find natural ways to take care of our sugar cravings with maybe more grapes and oranges and apples and fruits, and stay more away from the simple sugars, we'll find not only will we lose weight, but our bodies will actually start being able to prevent type 2 diabetes, which commonly can be caused by obesity, which then again is linked to high sugar consumption and fat consumption. So as a holistic provider for 40 years, that has been my goal, to prevent disease before it starts. And most of these diseases are preventable. About 80% of diseases that we suffer with are preventable. So I hope that our followers can take heart and start being more conscientious about what you put into your mouth, because it has a direct effect on your health. Until next time, this is Dr. Hobson. Thanks for your attention.